Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is Edgar Rivera, and you're listening to another wonderful podcast of, we don't know the name yet, but I'm joined today by my wonderful partner in crime, Mr. Eric Nieves.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Brothers in Arms is a potential title. We're whiffing around, just so you know.
Yes, that's a good one. And sitting next to Eric Nieves, which is not really next to him because he's somewhere else, but we have the wonderful Dr. Dan in the house.
Hey guys, really good to be here with you.
Yes. So I wanna talk about this podcast because I've been dying to do this podcast. As many of you know, I have my own podcast where I interview different comics, different friends of mine, and talk shit. But I wanted to do something different this time around and do a podcast with a meaning. So the meaning of this podcast to me is bringing awareness on how men need to talk more with each other. That's why Brothers in Arms is a name suggested by Dr. Dan, which I think is a very good name because it has a meaning to it. You know, like a brother in an arm. A brother needs a hug every once in a while, and that's the problem with men. Men, we're taught that ever since we were little that we had to be tough guys. That you can't cry. You know, only little girls cry. You gotta be tough. You gotta be a man. And I think we built this rage inside of us, and we keep things in because we're afraid of talking and letting things out. And I wanted to bring awareness to that. I had a good friend a few months ago who committed suicide, and that was the main idea to this podcast. That same day he did it, we were all texting on a group chat, and it was crazy. None of us would have known that this is gonna happen that night, and it blew my mind, and it brought more awareness on what people are really going through in life that we don't know, because we're so good, especially Eric and I, since we're comics. Comedians could hide every emotion when we get on stage. I've gone on stage on a night when my mother suffered a heart attack, and I went on stage and no one knew about it because I know how to hide it behind me. Good, but it could also be a bad curse where I feel that we need to let things out, you know. So I talked to Eric, and I mean, I think Eric and I have a good chemistry together where we could feed off each other, and every word that I fuck up, then he could do it because I'm a Latino and I will fuck up some words. So Eric is the one that fixes shit for me. And I told Eric, and I say, you know what, we should just do something that brings awareness, to let people know, let men know especially, that it's okay to talk. It's okay to let things out. You know what I'm saying? I've been going through a rough time myself the past year. A hard year. 2020 was crazy hard for me. And the old Edgar would have probably been like, kept all that shit in and, you know, and killed myself inside. Thank God I never thought about going that suicidal route. I mean, I could be honest with you guys and tell you that. But it was a really, really bad year. And the fact that I have a circle now that I could call and vent out, Eric being one of them, and talk it out, it makes you feel so much better. And that's the reason for me, on doing this podcast and bringing Eric along, because I feel like Eric has some secrets that we all need to hear as well.
Well, I don't know if I have any secrets. I will tell you that what I was intrigued by the idea when you first brought it up, because when it comes to being a man in a male-dominated society, what gets celebrated as strength, I think what the real strength is really facing emotions and dealing with feelings and really dealing to what they're doing to you, and how you could use them to motivate you instead of letting them drag you down. I don't think that's a strength that gets celebrated enough for men, doing that, especially Latino men, notoriously machismo and very old school. And it's like the more stoic you are, the stronger you are. And as you said, it's really just, you end up bottling it up. And I think this is a great way for us to use the platform to not only, get a message out there and really talk about something important, but do it in a way that can make people laugh and make people more comfortable in talking about it. And sometimes you need to laugh to really talk about uncomfortable topics and subjects. And you need to do it with a little levity and a little love, and, and not so serious, so that we can really open up the gates. Because laughter, to me, like you always say, Edgar, the best medicine. True. Laughter can heal almost any wound. Communing with friends and laughing together is one of the things that really bonds friendships. And, so I'm really excited about having the opportunity to make people laugh and do it in a way while we're doing something important.
Nice. I feel like I feel that it'll be a good way for us to open up with each other No, I mean, I don't know if that sounds right, but you know what I'm saying? Like open up where
I've seen you naked, Edgar. You can't get more
feel,
open.
all right, let's scratch that. Like in a way for you to open up and take the heat that comes with it. I feel like a lot of us keep shit inside because we don't want we're afraid of how we're gonna get judged. Like me going up to my boy and saying something that you know what I'm saying, and the consequences that come with it, and we suffer, and that's why men keep that shit inside. You know, the platform that we're building here is for us to open up, for us to share something that maybe you've been holding inside has been killing you, and you know, and for you to open up and take what comes with it, because you know Eric is going to say something about it, you know, I'm going to snap on you, and we laugh, and then you know, then you realize the power of letting go, of letting go. That's something that's like holding you down so bad, man. So when I had this idea, I talked to my boy Greg, who's behind the scenes right now. You guys don't see him, and he introduced me to Dr. Dan, you know, and he said I have a doctor. That's how he said it. It sounded really like ghetto shit. He's like, yo, you need to talk to Dr. Dan. I was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you
we
can't
used to
really
call them doctors too back in the Bronx. Yeah,
Yeah,
urban
yeah.
pharmaceutical engineers. Yeah, doctors.
Yeah. I have a lot of doctors in the corners, but Dr. Dan, you know, and he told me that Dr. Dan could definitely, you know, bring something to the table because he deals with this, right, Doc?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I've always wanted to have some kind of platform about this for men. I do this all the time. It's just how I live. I'm like, I don't care what anybody says, because I grew up in a family of therapists.
Okay.
But I'm a guy, so like I grew up knowing that talking about things is good, but I also grew up in the same world you guys did, where it's a whole boys don't cry kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's so much so that I actually don't cry. I cry. I mean, the last time I cried was at my cousin's funeral, which was like 40 years ago. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. I don't know about you. I cried before we went onto this podcast. Man. I don't know. I mean, Eric, you cry?
Oh my God. When my mother got married 2 years ago, I was sniffling like a little girl with a skin knee, and my sister was making fun of me. I mean, this is how difficult it is to come out crying at your mother's wedding. She was 66, by the way, getting married. So that's enough
Yeah.
to make you cry.
That's yeah. That's
Okay,
one
come on. I'm allowed to cry because I'm like,
You
oh my
are.
God, her hip. But I mean, I bawled like a baby, and my sister laughed at me, and her partner laughed at me. But I was okay with it because I think it was the first time I realized my mom was not going to be alone for the rest of her life.
There you go.
And I didn't have to worry about her. Like I was always concerned because she was really single. Not like current girls single where they're single because the dude is in Florida. You know what I mean? Like she was literally alone with nobody for almost 3 decades, and then she meets a 72-year-old Georgia cowboy and ends up getting
That's
married.
why you cried.
Yeah, I cried because I couldn't believe she married a dude named JR. I swear she married a dude named JR. Beautiful redneck, love him to death. Got 8 cars, none of them nice.
No.
He's an awesome guy. He actually calls my mom little mama and all this stuff. But yeah, I was so I've always been kind of the crier. See, I think that's one of the reasons you wanted me here, Edgar, because yeah, we're both from the Bronx, but I was a little more sensitive than you, I think, as a kid.
No. You know what, Dr. Dan, and I don't know if it's normal. I don't know if this happens to us as we get older, but yeah, I feel like this past year, 2020 was so fucked up. Yeah, I cried. There's days that I wake up and I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. It doesn't take nothing away from my manhood, but I'm not afraid to say that I cry. There's times that I wake up and I just let it out. I cry for no fucking reason. I could see a commercial or some fucking heroic shit on TV and my eyes water up.
Oh, listen. I mean, the times I cry the most are like superhero action movies. Like I just watched Deadpool and I was like, I didn't cry, but I was like, oh my God, so moving. It's like, and listen, I'm not saying that it's like here's the reason I don't cry as much. I'm not saying like that's a good thing, but I grew up in such a way that and I'm sure you guys were exposed to all kinds of things. So I'm just getting to know you, so I can't wait to find out about what makes you tick.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, so I was born into a family where my father died when I was 6 weeks old, and my mom was pretty depressed, understandably so. And my brother was like he was a 3-year-old lunatic because he just lost his dad, and then just gotten a baby. So I think I think there are times where I mean, look, I'm also like a very rational like being, but I don't have a problem crying. It's that I need. I don't even. It either has to be something that hits me like as a big thing, like when Jr. Marries your mom, like that. Maybe that's why I haven't cried. Jr. did not marry my mom, but it's either got to be
We
that
just find
or,
out if JR got a brother. That's what we
or
need
I'll
to
tell
find
you,
out.
like if I watch sports movies and the Cleveland Indians win it all, like in Major League, that's the thing that could make me cry.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, Cleveland's got. You're from Cleveland,
I am.
Dr. Now. All right. Well, my condolences for the
Look,
sports years, except for Cavaliers.
yeah,
Recently.
2016 changed everything for me. Now I can probably cry now. It hasn't happened yet, but
I feel like for me personally, even talking, just like talking to someone on something that I like from deep down or something emotional, like I feel like my eyes starts to water up, and like people could sense that. Just having a conversation or whatever it might be, where people come up to me and I just talk, and then when I feel like when I'm talking from the heart, you could actually see it in my face,
and that's good. You want your emotions closer to you. Look, I have a lot of good like emotional health, but not crying is not part of it. Like I would like to get to a place where I can access it more. That sadness. I've got this is actually interesting. I think a lot of men have a lot of access to anger. Like that's permissible. Women are not supposed to be angry. They get criticized for being angry. Women and men get criticized for being sad. It's and there's nothing to it. It's like it doesn't even fit in reality. Every person's the same.
Yeah. Well, this is why when I came up with the podcast, and not to be biased, I'm not nothing against women, but I wanted to do this about men and for men, because I feel like women have that platform. Women have the best friend. Your wife, well, something happened in your household, and her best friend will know it the very next day, and she gets to work. Women tend to talk more. They don't hold back as much as we do as men. And that's the difference. It's not, I mean, I feel like as men, we need to find, we need to find it to where like, okay, you know what? Let me let this shit out.
Well, I don't think the lines being drawn so clearly at gender is part of the problem. Is that, we feel like as men, there are roles that are defined and are accepted. Anger is accepted from a man. Depression is not. Depression is weakness. Men cannot be weak. Men are the hunters. Men are the supporters. Men are the alpha in the relationship. So I think that it'll get better if we allow ourselves to. Yeah, we can be more than one thing. I can be in touch with my emotions and be strong when I need to be strong. I think it takes, to me, again, I'll say it again. I think it takes true strength to handle emotions, because to give into anger is the easy way out. And it's usually the way that most men end up going, myself included.
I think it's so much rage inside. It's like it's built and built and built, and boom, it just snap.
Let me just also say something. As a therapist, I'll tell you, everybody's got a ton of sadness and everybody's got a ton of rage. Everybody does. It's just built into the human condition. I mean, think about it. We're born into a situation where we're going to die, and everybody we love is going to die. I'm not saying this to be depressing, but it's definitely coming off.
No, that's true. It's true.
But, and I think this is where humor also comes into play. Eric, you were saying this, and I had a patient that I worked with, actually, ironically a woman, but she would say, I'm dead inside. Like, I don't cry. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. We had to, for the first like 3 years, I would call it joke therapy, where I would actually, and it really is true. Joking opens up, it brings down judgment. It's just like we're all here having fun. And I think if we take the judgment out of things, whether it's gender roles or how we're looking at each other or how we're looking at ourselves, if there's no judgment, we'll be able to have all these discussions. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's what
I agree with you 100%. There should be no judgment. I don't want people to feel weird to come on here and say, feel weird about opening up. But, yeah, at the same time, like I said, take the heat that comes with it. You know, if you open up Dr. Dan and you tell Eric and I something, and we like, holy shit, what the fuck were you thinking? You know what I'm saying? And snap
I want
on.
to see photos. I have to see
Yeah,
photos.
yeah. But then that laughter right there, that's the medicine. That's the medicine. You just let something out, and I could speak from experience when I tell you, man, when you let something out that's been bothering you and you speak it out, you like, it's like you could take a deeper breath. You're like, oh my God, I feel loose, you know. And when I open up to my boys, whatever, and then the heat that comes with it, then I gotta eat it. I gotta eat it, and then laugh at it and be like, yeah, but what the hell was I thinking? I did it, and you know
All
what?
right, I'm gonna have to admit it now. I cried yesterday watching the season finale of 911 Lone Star
I don't even know what that is, bro.
because I truly believed that Rob Lowe was gonna die. Yeah. So listen, I'm getting in touch with my emotions now early. See, there you
Eric,
go.
Did you cry because you believed he was going to die and he didn't, or you believed he was going to die and you were just that scared?
I was really disappointed that they didn't use this as an excuse to just get rid of Rob Lowe. I'm just really jealous of Rob Lowe because no one should be that old and that good looking and that charming. And my wife loves him and I hate him. So
Yeah.
he's just one of those guys.
Dude, that dude is like 70 years old already, right?
Look at the guy. All right. And
I don't think he's that old.
He's not that old, but he looks a bit, those Atkins bars he's eating. I bet you he's in touch with his feelings. You know, like, if you know, it's funny. If you look at some of the bigger actors in Hollywood now, a lot of them are owning up to being men with feelings and emotions and mental health issues. Like, that's changing a little bit. Like men are being more open about, like athletes are being more open about talking about mental health. You know what I mean? And talking about depression and stuff like that. I think that's a good start. I think that's a step in the right direction. What do you think, Dan?
I think it's changing radically, actually. I mean, and you know, this is one thing where I'm kind of proud of like my generation, because like we're doing it. You know, I think our generation is doing it better. And one of those things is that we are having these discussions. And I totally agree with you, Eric. You know, we've got like Kevin Love in basketball talking about depression. Dak Prescott did. And then remember when Skip Bayless, I don't know how much you guys are sports fans, but he came out and was like, oh, Dak Prescott shouldn't have said that. And he got completely slammed, just as he should.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. That's something I wanted to say. Like, you know, Edgar, when you're saying that you have to deal with the heat, as long as the heat's brought with love, that's fine. But I actually think we got to fight real heat that's brought to these things. You know, people opening up and being vulnerable should be rewarded. They should be the people that we say that was brave, like Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Like I was pissed when I heard that because he was brave and he was leading, and there's no way he should have caught any flack for that.
All right, so you know, everyone listening, what did he do? Because I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I know you guys. Eric is a big sports fan. You're a sports fan.
I'm a huge sports fan, and the thing is, like, when you think of macho, and you think of sports, right? You think of these big, tough, strong guys, and now you got, you know, 6'11" power forwards that won NBA championships, talking about how they battle depression on a regular basis. You talk about the leader of America's team and Dak Prescott of the Cowboys, admitting that he's dealing with mental health issues, he lost his brother. He went through so much. And you know, and he's the quarterback, the face of the league, right? So everybody expects him to be some kind of Superman. And I would say a guy that is in his 70s made that comment. And I'm glad that he got comments against him because that view is outdated. So I agree with Dan. I think the leaps that we're making in accepting it and just seeing people just now talking about it now, you know what I mean? Like you never heard people in famous positions talk about mental illness the way you're seeing it now, and mental health, and that we have to stop looking at it as anything other than health. That's when we'll make the leap. It's health. It's not mental health. It's not physical health. It's overall health, and part of that is the mind. You know what I mean? And I think the heat, Edgar, I think we're overestimating the heat that's out there based on what we've experienced all our lives.
Yeah.
You know, I think that we are conditioned to expect that heat, so we don't even pursue the conversation. But this is why we're talking now. And
you know what else?
Why we're doing what we're doing.
I just want to add this, Eric. I totally agree with what you said, but I also think we don't realize we bring heat to ourselves too. So like if somebody's bringing heat and then you're also bringing heat, I would recommend if you go into a conversation and you're going to actually share who you really are, don't apologize for who you are. Don't apologize for who you are at all. If they bring real heat, you can just be like, listen, man, I'm sorry you can't deal with the realities of life. We have examples across the board where people are talking real. This is going to sound kind of ridiculous in a way, but like a number of years ago when Ben Affleck was still married to Jennifer Garner, and he was I think he was accepting an Oscar or something like that. And he was talking about how hard marriage is. That was a great moment for people. Like, to just open that up. It actually was really brave to just be like, listen, we're not perfect. Or like Robert Downey Jr., he struggled with addiction issues. Anytime we talk about something, it gets better. And the thing that we haven't been talking about is feelings. I'm going to say it again. I know this is a show where we're going to focus more on the men, but I do think that women and anger doesn't get talked about. And I think sadness and men does not get talked about. And so the more we talk about it, the better this goes. We have to lead by example. Everybody has a chance to lead. If you go in there and I totally agree with what Eric said. You may be overestimating the heat that's coming. But even more important than that, why would you be getting any heat anyway? You're just being who you are.
Yeah, that's true. And a good point. You brought up marriage. Marriage is a perfect example because everybody wants to portray that wonderful couple, that loving couple. You know who I appreciate the most? The fucking people that argue in front of each other and make you feel awkward. Those fucking people really love each other, right? When you see fucking people like go at each other, like, fuck out of here, fuck you.
When he like comes close to mushing her head in the grocery store, that's genuine.
I don't know. That's a little too far.
Genuine love. but they're not afraid to show their warts. You know what I mean? Exactly. And that's what's up. You appreciate that honesty.
I feel like that's fucking true love. Like when you see that, I hate to see a couple. Have you ever seen a couple that look like they're perfect for each other? Like everything is like so perfect, and like I look at those couples and I'm like, oh my god, I just want to call some. I just want to freaking make them argue just to make them, because we are so used to the argument and things not being perfect. And marriage is one of them. People, things in the marriage, and like I said before, problems in a marriage, a woman will go and tell their friends easily. Men don't hold that shit in. God forbid. Perfect example. God forbid your wife, your girl has an affair. And you find out about it as a man, you find out and you have this inside. And now I don't know how to tell Eric because I don't know what Eric's going to think about me when I tell him that my wife just had an affair. You know what I'm saying? And you hold that fucking shit in, And
I know what I would say, bro. I would say, listen, she called me first. I said no. So just feel good about that. At least I said no.
Yeah, right.
The hell with the other guy
said. But listen, but that's the problem. I think that getting to that point on holding something so bad inside could, make us do fucking horrible fucking things. Every time I see the news and I see some shit that's mass.
You need to stop doing that, by the way. You need to stop watching the news for all the horrible stuff. You know what we should do? With holding stuff in, we should treat the heat we think we're getting. We should treat it like hecklers. How do comedians handle hecklers?
Yeah,
do them down.
Exactly.
Right? So that's right. So when that heat comes, just take them down, son. Just do the old, the way we handle a heckler. We knock them down with the truth.
And then like Dr. Dan said, you don't apologize. If I'm gonna open up to you, I'm not gonna say, yo, I'm sorry, because that's not right. It's done. What's done is done. You know what I'm saying?
Even more, you did something good. Like,
exactly.
We got to go the extra mile. It can't be like what's done is done only, because it's also, you didn't do anything wrong. You did something good. You led.
I want people who listen to this podcast and who listen to us talk, and eventually, like I said, the plan of the podcast is to have different guests on, whether they might be entertainers, celebrities, whoever, sports, a player, whatever it is, whoever we bring on.
You will never get an athlete on this show, Edgar.
Well, Dr. Dan right there.
Maybe Dan can, because Edgar don't know nothing about sports. By the way,
I could get the local handball player from the handball courts in the Orchard Beach in the Bronx.
You can get a softball player from El Barrio to show up, baby.
guys, the way to do this is to bring an athlete on the show, and we'll see if Edgar knows who they are.
Oh,
my
yes.
God.
That'll be the
yes.
best. We'll find the like most famous athlete we can, and Edgar won't know who they are.
He will have no idea.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I won't
Does he
not.
play for the Yankees?
That's it. That's all I know. The
That's all he
Yankees.
knows. The Yankees.
But that's the purpose of having someone on and sharing something, you know, and hopefully the listeners could see and hear, you know, what goes on after you share something, and then that person itself will feel the feeling, and then hopefully inspire someone else to be like, yo, you know what, bro, this has been bothering me. Because it's simple. It's simple. You don't need to know me. I don't need to know. I don't need to know people. You ever had someone come up to you in the middle of the fucking street and just tell you their fucking problems, and you're looking at them like, I don't even know this motherfucker. You be like, I'm sorry, you know, you walk away.
Yeah, but they look like they feel better, so it all works out.
Yes, that vent right there just fucking helped them. I don't give a fuck, you know. But you know what? But that's what I want people to experience, especially men, to experience that. You know what? You could pick a best friend. You could pick a therapist. Talk to your therapist. You know, that's another thing. You know, therapists, like, no one admitted back in the days that they saw a therapist. I was like, oh, you were cuckoo. You were cuckoo. Yeah. Nobody said that shit. Yo, I gotta go see my therapist. Nobody said that shit. You got a therapist, you were considered crazy, right? Now everybody's admitting more, you know. So yeah, get a therapist, get someone you could talk to. Find a friend that's not gonna judge you, who has never judged you, and then you realize from one to the other, it becomes easier. It becomes easier to the point that I don't have to hide who I am. I don't have to fucking hide who I am. You know, like, I could fucking tell you who the fuck I am.
It's the same as like comedy. I listen, I'm not a comedian, but I understand comedy. And one of the things I understand is, like they say, the first rule of improv is always say yes. Well, why would it be different with feelings? If you come out and you tell me who you really are and you say no, you're going to shut down. That's the end. That's the end of it. You have to say yes. You know, that's the way to get anything done.
Yes.
Now, Dan, you came up in a family of therapists, right? You had mentioned that you grew up and you had therapists in your family growing up.
Yeah.
So did you always feel like you were getting counseled?
Oh my God, yeah. I'll actually say one of the things that wasn't good for that, they were great in some ways, and I had advantages that other people didn't have because they understood things, but they always thought they understood me better than I understood me. And that was so irritating. I like, and that can be a serious problem too. They're like, oh, I'm interpreting. And maybe that's why I don't cry so much. I'm like, I am not going to show you. So we put up walls for many reasons. Some people put up walls because you were told it's not okay to have those feelings. Some people put up walls because you're going to invade me and tell me what I'm feeling, and then I'm going to shut down. We got to keep things flowing. And that's why we have to reward the people for talking. So, like, you know, you guys are really just meeting me recently. I just met you, Edgar, and I'm meeting you today, Eric. We're doing great. We're hitting it off, at least as far as I know.
Not bad.
But so I have this podcast that is about, it's called Crushing Doubt. It is about how the things we hold in become real in the body. They change the body. You can actually have chronic pain from holding things in. So this is what we're talking about today is huge for my work, but it's huge for everybody. All the stuff we hold in, you know, you were saying, Edgar, it kills you. It actually does. People who hold things in are more likely to have heart conditions, all that kind of stuff.
It does. And it's crazy how a lot of people could hide it.
Think about the pandemic is another thing you got to take into account. Everybody was kind of had their emotional growth stunted and frozen for a year. You know, it's like it's going to be interesting how people reintegrate into society. You're already seeing people already losing their minds and not knowing how to act once they get back out. Yeah. So it'll be interesting how much more walls we'll need to break down after everybody's had to go on an emotional cocoon for about a year and be like wrapped up in their own heads. I mean, Dan, you must be seeing it in your work, just the difference pre and post in people's mental health.
I am, but you know what? This might surprise you. What I'm seeing instead is that people grew a lot in this year.
Really?
Yeah. And here's why. It was so challenging on a level that everybody was going through. It was like the anti-Facebook. Instead of going to Facebook and seeing how good everybody was doing, we were all doing shitty. All of us together. And there was actually something good about that. I mean, obviously not good for the suffering, and there was a lot of suffering on many different levels. For some people it was financial, for some people it was health, for some people it was anxiety, for some people it was isolation, for some people it was suicidal ideation went up. There was a lot of bad stuff. So I'm not saying this is good, but some of the good things that come out of it, and this we find in therapy and psychology a lot, is that the things that you think are going to be a problem end up being the good things. Just like when you step out off that ledge as a man and say, I was feeling this way, when we don't usually do that, that's where the good stuff is.
Yep.
That's actually encouraging to hear. That's, because I thought everybody was just doing what Edgar was doing, was just
I was hiding,
cutting paper dolls and stuff like that. I don't know. Listen, I'm just saying,
nobody knows what the fuck I was doing. I put myself in a hole, and I tell people, and I'm not I tell people 2020 was so hard. Like I lost, and this is something that someone taught me. And I used to say, I would tell people, man, I lost so much in 2020. And I had a good friend of mine, we had a conversation one day. He goes, Edgar, he goes, what did you really lose? And it fucked me up. I'm like, dude, I just told you everything. I lost my job, my, security, my, everything. And he goes, yeah, but what did you really lose? He goes, you're here right now. He goes, you lost your mom. I did lose my mom, and that was the hardest blow ever. He goes, but you gained an angel, and you're here. Everything else that you think you lost, that's still there. That's still out for the grab. You can still move forward, and it opened my eyes, and it made me realize that now every time I say that, I really don't want to say it because I really didn't lose nothing. I'm still right here, But 2020 was it was hard. It was hard. I like to think of it as like a cleanse, like a body cleanse. It made us appreciate the things we took for granted. It made us appreciate our loved ones. It made us, appreciate every little thing that got taken away from us. Because, like you say, Dr. Dine, we were all going through it.
Yeah, actually, interestingly, what I'm worried more about the adjustment is what are we going to forget that we learned? In a way, it's the opposite.
Which is already happening. If you look at TV, they're opening up now. They're opening up, no masks and everything else. And I feel like it blows my mind because I was like, we just lived a pandemic. A pandemic is about to be over. 30, 40 years from now, they're going to be talking about this fucking pandemic, and we just lived it. And no matter, and I feel like it's a good point. I feel like it's fading away. The more they open up, the more people are going to go out, the more people are going to just forget everything that just happened.
And that's the thing. A show like this is the antidote to that. We need things like this, where we very tenaciously hold on to what we learned in the hard times. Whether it was a pandemic or not, we need to hold on to that, and we need to fight for it. And it's one of the reasons I do shows in general. People need to have somebody out there leading that discussion and talking about it and refusing to let it go away. I'm telling you, I'm not going back to the way I was before the pandemic. I'm not. I'm going to learn the lessons of the pandemic. Things like, who are my actual priorities? I used to think about many different people because I just like people. But the pandemic actually helped me think about who are the essentials, who are the people that I really need. And that's how I'm going to live. And that's how I'm going to live post-pandemic. I refuse to go back.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, Edgar could tell you I was kind of already living in a state of isolation before the pandemic because I always hated going out. So it actually worked for me to not go places. But I go tell you, I always hated going places, but
yo, this is the dude. Let me tell you, you don't know how honored I am to have Eric on this. For Eric at least to commit to doing this podcast and coming up here, I applaud him because it's something that I know.
I only committed for one reason, okay?
Wow.
Because I want you to share a picture of you wearing that cone that you had to wear when you had your neck work done. You looked like a cat. The cones that cats wear, Dr. Dan?
All right. Was wearing one of those?
Edgar was rocking the cone after a neck surgery, okay? I didn't
like a month.
I wanted to roll snacks down it to see if it went down, and
you know how fucked up it was.
How do you sleep with that, Edgar?
No, dude, it wasn't like an actual cone like that, but I had to. It was hard.
It was conish. It was very
conish.
It
was like some shit like this.
I'm doing this to just see a picture of that, to be honest.
And I will post it now.
All right, Edgar, that tells us we can't have that picture come out until like 10 seasons in.
Yeah,
Because
you gotta build up.
Eric.
You gotta build up the suspense. They have to flirt first before you reveal the picture.
We gotta at least develop a secondary.
Getting back to Eric, and I'm on Eric a lot. Eric, when Eric and I had the Tangana Comedy Posse, which is a sketch comedy troupe, and we did it at the New York Poets Cafe in New York City, Eric sort of like retired comedy. Remember, Eric, when you left, you came out here to LA, and then he sort of like gave up. And when I started comedy, I saw Eric. Like Eric was one of the first cats that I saw doing comedy live, and that I was like, wow, amazing. And we've never really talked about that, and we talked about a lot. But he went, and he was like vanishing off, and then he agreed to come back to New York and do the sketch comedy troupe with me. And that right there was like amazing. Like not even Angelo, may he rest in peace, believe the fact that Eric actually came back to the New York.
He reminded me of that every time he saw him. Like,
yes.
Really, dude?
Yeah, because he left. Eric left his crew, but then he came back with me, and it was cool because it made me feel good to have him being part of my team, but just like find something that dedicated him again. And I'm always on him. I'm always on him a lot. But Eric, come on, let's go out. Let's go do the show. Let's go do this.
That's a prime example of someone not talking about what they're feeling and what they're going through, and just deciding to step away from something that they loved, and just deciding that it was over. I thought I had run the course of what I was going to run, happy with what I had done, and still very happy with what I've done up until this point. But I just didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel as far as that track was concerned anymore. So, and I was quite comfortable scaling back, but then once I got my foot back in, once my friend said, hey, we got to do this, then, I caught the bug again. And next thing you know, we're doing rehearsals 2-3 days a week, writing brand new sketches every month. And it was like I'd never left the troupe. But I didn't go to Edgar and bring it up. Edgar had to bring it to me. So it just, sometimes people get put in your path at the right time. But if I was smart, I would have reached out. If I was more emotionally advanced, I would have reached out, and I would have said, hey man, this is why I'm feeling this, not because of how I feel about comedy, but because of how I feel about me.
Yeah.
And I mixed the two. And so I'm very glad that I never gave up, because it's still something I love to do. Get an opportunity to hang out with this knucklehead and meet people like Dr. Dan, who, by the way, I don't know if anybody told you, you have a little Mike Greenberg look.
Oh, you know what? I have not been told that before, but
a mix of the guy from FS1 and if Mike Greenberg and Nick.
No, I'm looking at myself right now. I'm like, I do look a little like Mike Greenberg.
The beard.
It's the beard, but also my hair is a little longer than it used to be. And,
yeah. Okay. Yes.
Now
okay.
I'm a TV
crazy.
personality also. So that.
There you go. Eric looks like Quagmire. Look. So
listen, I don't want to co-opt the show, but maybe we need to call the show "Becoming Mike Greenberg." No, that's too weird. That's too weird.
Listen, we could rename it after season 3.
But I like Brothers in Arms. But let me say something that I think you guys will think is funny. Like, okay, so Brothers in Arms is a song by Dire Straits, which is like, it's a pretty white band. I'll just come on and say that.
Hey, money for nothing and your chicks for free, buddy.
Yeah, but when I said the song, you both looked at me like, what?
Yeah,
never even heard of that.
We've never heard, never. I asked Siri, Brothers in Arms.
But
I'm gonna listen to this when this is over.
But the term for it, when I listen to that song, so I have a brother, and we don't always have the easiest relationship, but I still feel that brotherhood with him, and I feel that with my closest friends. And when I hear the song Brothers in Arms, it's one of the most emotional songs there is, because it is about breaking through those societal restraints about the connection. When you go to war with somebody, whether it's literal or figurative, when you know you're going to be the guy who will call up Eric and say, I need you out here. Get out of here. That's what Brothers in Arms is. That's why.
But instead of an actual foxhole, it'll be more of an emotional foxhole.
Yeah. And look,
you know what I mean?
Emotional foxholes are a big deal. Like Edgar, you just lost somebody to suicide, you said?
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
Look, we are in an emotional foxhole. That's what life is. You know, there's good parts to it. There's parts that don't feel at all like a foxhole and are just great. But there are many times where we're in a foxhole together, and I always think this may come from the fact that I grew up with my father dying, when he was only 29. I think about time, and like we have limited time to connect, and that's why a show like this is so important. To say we're not going to waste time criticizing each other or tearing each other down. We don't have time for that. We got to go straight for connecting.
Yeah. It's like you said with the pandemic, like learning from this pandemic, when my friend committed suicide, it fucked me up, man. It really fucked me up because good kid, always laughing, help me move, and look at my eyes. Look, I get emotional because it's real. But it scared the shit out of me. I could tell you honestly, both of you, I could tell you I've never thought about killing myself. That thought has never crossed my mind. But then again, I don't know how the mind works when one gets to that fucking point of being like, wow, to fucking finally say, boom, how do you get to that point? And what I learned from that and why I'm doing this is because experiencing his death was like an eye-opener for me. I told myself I can't keep things in. I cannot keep things in. Now I'm scared. Like if I have something else, I want to vent it out because I don't want to hold that thing in because God knows what the fuck people go through when it gets to that. When it gets to that point, and we never know. We never know. I could be here right now. Tonight, something could happen to me and blow my fucking mind, and boom, and I'm gone. And you're like, what the fuck, So I learned to open up more. Not to everybody, obviously, not everybody deserves that. But you know what? At least talk to my friend more. Make a phone call someone, and let it out. There's days that I don't want to talk. There's days that I'm a comedian. And my sister says you're the most antisocial person that I've known. And Eric could probably be the same way. Eric does a show. The minute he gets off, he gets paid, he breaks the fuck out. I'll hang around, but sometimes I just don't want to be bothered. I don't want to talk to nobody. There's days that I don't even want to pick up the phone and call someone. And then losing a friend like that has taught me, no, Edgar, open. Don't, open up, talk how you feel. Say it. Don't worry what the fuck people are going to say. A true person, a true friend, someone who really cares about you will do exactly what you do and reward you for being, that's cool. Thank you. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. I don't know what I would tell someone if I ever fucking had a conversation with someone and you call me and be like, yo, dude, I'm thinking about offing myself. And you're like, what the fuck? Because nobody wants to be in that situation, but I'm pretty sure I would say something to get them off that fucking bridge in a heartbeat, know?
And here's the thing, and just for everybody out there who's thinking about, how to deal with suicidal ideation if somebody came to you or something, it's not what you say. It's that you don't shut them down. If you leave it open, then lots of things can get talked about because suicide happens because the person does not see a way out. And if they feel shut down, maybe that was the last way out that they could possibly see. So it's not about what you say. You don't have to be perfect in what you say at all. You just have to. It's like with improv. Seriously, you say yes.
You say yes.
You say yes to that person, and this is why whenever anyone opens up to me about anything, I don't care what it is, I'm going to support them. And this is not true for like people who are like being a jerk or something like that. I don't just give it to anybody. But if somebody's being truly vulnerable, I'm going to reward them. I'm going to do it every time, and I'm never going to stop that because I know that can be the difference right there.
Yeah. And then coming from
I want to be rewarded, by the way, Dan, if you're going to reward us for sharing, I want to be rewarded in cookies. Is that possible?
Okay. I can do it.
Okay.
It's unconventional from the therapist.
Have to be weed cookies though. Weed cookies.
Well, we could keep it separate. I like to separation of church and state. I like to keep my weed and food separate. Weed inspires food, not the other way around.
Listen, if I'm going to reward you, it should be with cookies and not weed. I shouldn't be dispensing that.
Exactly. Cookies, better way to go. Sugar high. Woo.
Yeah. Well, hilarious. But that's the thing. Like you said, like the reward comes and at the same time, like personal experiences with my friends when I open up, when I said take the heat. I didn't mean like the bash from it, you know. But yeah, my boys are gonna snap on me if I do something stupid, and they're gonna snap on me, and that's something that I gotta deal with and laugh at it myself. You know what I'm saying? And on this platform, we have you, Dr. Dan, who's a professional therapist, and then you got two comedians who will listen, who will reward you, but at the same time, whatever you do, if it was stupid, we're gonna fucking talk about it, and we're gonna throw it in your face, and that I think makes you stronger to what you just said. You know what I'm saying? That gives you that tough skin. You could defend yourself, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? That's how you accept, and you grow and you move on from it. And hopefully once you do it once, then you do it twice.
And every week we will celebrate a former 80s or 90s action star that should have been more sensitive and should have been more in touch with his feelings.
I think
next week it'll be Jean-Claude Van Damme and the downfall of his career because he refused to be sensitive when he was doing those big spiral kicks.
No, and we'll look at those old movies like Revenge of the Nerds. We'll be like, there are actually some serious problems in that.
I think,
yeah.
I think like that. But
there's a couple of assault charges that could have been brought against that fraternity.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I think Dr. Dan said it right. He said, we should bring a different a player or something that I'm not gonna recognize, and then my homework is to find a movie that's gonna finally make Dr. Dan cry.
No, you want to make Dr. Dan cry. Watch the end of Fast and Furious 7.
Where?
The last scene when Paul Walker's driving away and that Wiz Khalifa song is playing.
Yeah.
If you don't start crying, there's something wrong with your soul. That's Paul Walker, man.
Hey,
yep.
Dr. Dan, since you're a big sports person, did you cry during Rudy? Remember that movie, Rudy?
Yeah, I love Rudy. That is the kind of, look, that is the kind of movie I tear up at. It barely ever breaks the plane. I don't know why, but a movie like Rudy, definitely. Who do you think?
All right,
the end of Field of Dreams kind of gets me
the end of
misty.
Field of Dreams. I mean, he has a catch with his
Can I have a
father.
catch?
Like, I definitely tear up with that. But listen, if I'm watching alone, I'm more likely to actually cry about it. I did cry a little bit when the Cavs won the championship. That was
something else. That's
I could not
50-year
believe
drought of sports, man. That had to be amazing.
But that's interesting because that's another topic that we should definitely talk about further down, on.
Well, we don't even need to have the
athlete
do the interview. I'll just show a picture, and I guarantee no matter what picture I pull up, you're not going to know who it is, bro.
Edgar, that's Michael Jordan.
He plays football, right?
He plays baseball. He played baseball. Didn't he play baseball?
He did.
Horribly.
There you go.
So.
But there you go. I don't know. I honestly, Dr. Dan, I'm probably one of the only Latinos that does not follow sports. I don't know.
Especially baseball. Especially baseball. Like, I'm surprised. Like, you're not into baseball.
Edgar?
You know what's crazy that I'm into? Like, I went to a baseball game. I went to a Dodger game a couple of weeks ago. I had fun, If you guys come over, they say, let's watch the game. I'll watch the game with you guys. But I'm not just that hardcore fan, like that fan that be like, oh my God, they're trading, and all. Nah, man.
But you know what I like? I like that you're not apologizing for who you are. That's right there. You don't have to like baseball. Who cares?
I don't. I don't like baseball, basketball. My boy invites me to his house all the time for all these sports events, and they all talk, and I feel like I'm like, damn, what the fuck should I do? Let me go talk to the women because I could probably relate with them. Cry over there.
At least you can be yourself.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't apologize, and it's crazy how some people look at me like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, really? You don't fucking.
It surprised me. I wasn't disappointed. I haven't given up your friendship yet. At least I think I haven't. But
I heard yet in there.
Yeah. Well, listen. The night is young. I'm just saying that when you meet someone like Edgar from the Bronx, 100% Boricua, and you're 100% pure Puerto Rican, and you have this vision of somebody that was born and raised and ate and slept baseball, because most Boricuas from the Bronx, that's exactly who they are as men. And he is nothing like that, bro. He'd rather watch anything, the Nature Channel. He doesn't care. He'll watch anything.
I watch a chick flick. I like the romantic ones that make you cry.
Listen,
I had an ex-girlfriend. Look, listen, I'll tell you guys this, and I'll start with this. I had an ex-girlfriend who complained about me crying.
Wow.
She says, I don't know how to handle that. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like it wasn't like I was crying every fucking day, but yeah, I will get emotional and then I'll think about something and it blew my mind, you know, because it made me feel like, wow, you know, like what the fuck? Like you can't handle, how do you not handle? And there's a lot of people who are not meant, you know, that probably can't handle a breakdown, me calling you and be like, oh my God, and they don't know what to say. But you know, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was some point. It was some point. I had a point.
Look, well, I think I understand your point, or at least I got a point from it. And I think what it is you were being vulnerable and you kind of got shamed for it. And that's not cool. That's not cool at all.
That's not cool because not a lot of men would do that. Not a lot of men will open up, especially in front of females. You know, there's a lot of men. Yeah. I believe that every man out there listening to this has hide somewhere or gone somewhere and let something out. But it just destroys their manhood to say tears came down your face, which is it's the worst fucking excuse I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like you learn from it. You learn from it, and it bugged me out to see it, and it questioned me. I was like, man, am I a crybaby? Am I a fucking punk?
No, you know? See, that's the thing. The problem in that equation was not you, it was her. In that equation. If she said no, you know, that's not okay. You know?
Yeah.
You were just being yourself. And actually, she's doing a huge disservice. I'm not singling her out, but like anybody who does that is doing a huge disservice to society. The next time you need to open up with somebody, you're going to think twice now. And that's not what we want.
Yep.
She was probably blown away, like, oh, no, he's too nice. There's something wrong with him. No, I need to go with somebody that's going to go yell at me in the street because he's sensitive and crying. There's something wrong with that,
I need somebody to miss.
Isn't that crazy? And you know what? And not only her, but I've met a few other females who told me the same thing, you know?
Well, it's conditioning, man. And listen, if they're used to a certain type of man, a different type of man is going to throw them off. You know, anytime you deal with somebody different, it throws you off.
I want to keep talking about all these things. I could talk to you guys all night.
I think we went way over.
I'm just going way over because Greg, I just giving more work to Greg and to give Greg a shout out. During 2020, during the hardest year that I have gone through, you know, you said that, Dr. Dan, that it made you appreciate those people in your life. You know, and I appreciate Greg. Because he's been after me forever since I met him. He said, "Yo, I want you to do a podcast." And you know, and I could tell him. I said, "Greg, I'm not feeling it, dude. I'm not feeling it. You know, I'm in a dark place right now. I'm trying to get out." But he never fucking stopped. And those are the people that you appreciate after all of this. The people that don't give up on you, that see that vision, that tell you, man, you got to fucking do this. You got to fucking do this. And even today, when we thought we were just going to do a little test run and we actually recorded a whole fucking hour. But, you know, so I appreciate you, Greg, even though nobody could see you back there. But I appreciate you for staying on me. You know what I'm saying? Even though at times I'll be like, leave me the fuck alone. But eventually it fucking worked because we're here right now. So thank you, brother, and thank you guys. Thank you guys for seeing this vision, and hopefully we could grow it and make something big of it, and people will listen, and we could change, you know, a few men's point of view and the way they live. And I'm very happy to be doing this. I'm very happy to have you brothers on board with me, and thank you, bro. Thank you. Hopefully,
it's great meeting you, Dan. By the way, you were great to talk to. Really looking forward to getting to know you better.
You too, Eric. This and Edgar, thank you so much. This is a great conversation that is really worth having.
And thank you for the name, Brothers in Arms. I like it. I really do like it. I like it. I actually see the logo. You know what I'm saying? I feel like men need more hugs, yo. A man needs a hug. Like,
yeah, listen, and who can say on their first episode they named the podcast during the episode? That's some serious openness there.
That is groundbreaking right there. We just shared total emotion, total feeling.
It beats Dr. Dan's last name, which was Dicks with Opinions.
well, I didn't expect to end on that note.
Nah.
But this shows us.
How about cocks with controversies?
This shows us the show can go anywhere.
Phalluses and facts.
It could go, but the way I see it is, for the next episode, I want to share something, you know. Hopefully Eric would share something as well. If you want to share something yourself,
I'm open
Dr.
to
Dan, because
share
I feel like listening to you and how you tell me that you don't cry and you built that wall. Now I'm wondering if it was because the fact that you lost your dad so young and you had to live that life, and you know, did that make you stronger? Did that have something to do with that? So hopefully you could share something on that, and eventually make ourselves better as men.
Yep.
And pass that fucking flow where everybody could fucking do the same, you know. So next episode, I will definitely share something. And I'm open. You guys could fucking hit me from every corner that you want. I got something really good for you guys. And then moving forward, man. So brothers in arms, yo, brothers in arms.
I want to
Brothers
see the
in
cone.
arms.
I want to see the cone.
Shut up, bro. Shut up.
Not till season 10.
I know.
Not to the season 10. That's I like that.
Can I at least get a
Dr.
trailer?
Dan.
Can I get a trailer? You know, teaser trailer.
Dr. Dan didn't even give us one season. He said 10. That's a long fucking time,
10.
yo. So
I like
It's gonna be a long run.
he
Yeah,
will
that's
speak it
it.
into existence. Yes.
long run. So yo, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you. I hope that today we just changed one person's life. I hope today you speak up. I hope today you say something that's been bothering you. I hope today you let it out and feel good about yourself and know that it's okay to talk, especially you, brother. So it's okay. It's okay to let it out. So for my part, Eric, Dr. Dan, I think we should do some shit where we like brothers in arms at the end, like a fucking.
Yeah. Okay. You went too far. You went too far. Too far.
I mean, look, I say yes. So if you need me to,
That's true. You know, he's
there you go.
pleased.
There you go.
but we'll workshop it.
But thank you, man. Thank you, Dr. Dan. Thank you, Eric. And
Thank you, Eddie, Greg. Pleasure.
Any final thoughts, Eric?
No, just you know what, just be open to change and be open to listen. That's all I could ask.
Thank you, Dan. There you go. Good one, Dr. Dan.
Listen, you've already covered it, and I think we're doing great work here already, and I'm excited. The only thing I will add is that we're going to have people listening, and this is a chance for you to sign up to hear more of this. And so, you know, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. This is a YouTube show. Hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below to any of the three of us, and we will get back to you, and we'll probably say yes.
Dan definitely will. Dan is the yes man.
Yes, man. That was a funny movie, by the way. But thank you guys, man. Thank you, and everybody listening, man. Stay tuned. Some big things are coming, y'all.
All right, fellas. See you next time.
All right.